Hello, class. Today we're going to be talking about recording voiceover, music, and sound effects for people who have made children's books but don't know how to put it online, or maybe they want to add music and all those different things behind it to engage their readers more. So, this is kind of a way to get their platform up to a new level. Perhaps they want to put it on a blog. The only thing that is required is that the music and ideas will also remain on my page if they want to put it on their own website. So that's the basic idea. As we go through this, you'll see that we have the table of contents, which is exciting, and the introduction talks about different websites that do offer children's stories, but they're not up to par exactly as what people might want. For instance, on RazKids for teachers, the quality isn't as good, or maybe it's just the voiceover work with the book so that the kids can learn, but it's not as engaging as clicking on a page, turning the page, listening to dramatization of the words, voiceover work, different people talking, so that it engages the children more as they're listening. It's more like a movie versus just, hey, I'm reading a book. So as we go down, we'll see that there are different websites available. Some of the sound quality isn't as good on the websites, so that's what I'm trying to offer is great sound quality, great visual graphics through FlipSnack. That's what I'm using for the graphics there, to give the interactivity that they're lacking. Maybe as we go through the purpose, maybe an author doesn't have time or the money or the know-how to put their book online. Well, this offers this opportunity for them to do that for completely free, which you can't beat. So that's kind of the premise, and then later on, as things develop, there can be money involved. But for now, this is a free thing. Advertising is an option, but I'm not including it in this presentation. So as we go down here, the Veggie Tales is an example that I give of what is a good example of what's out there. It has the interactive book that flips. It has songs. The web page is not as intense as a lot of advertising and very hard to visually see. So VeggieTales really has a good handle on the simplicity of what children actually want to see as they're looking for their book. Because this is not only for adult authors to put their stuff up, but they're going to direct people to this website that I'm creating so that the children can read their books, which will link them to their website to sell their other books. For instance, let's say that John Winston, I'm making this name up, wants to put his book on my website. Then there will be a link to his website, which will help him to sell his other books, but also get his books out there as an interactive way to engage the children. So there's also another website that I talk about that's just very confusing, and you can click on the link to find out about that. So now we're going to talk about the learning styles just briefly. A lot of people learn by one of the following: auditory, by listening. There's also visual, seeing the book, and then kinesthetic, doing. That's actual clicking, moving the page. That's one thing that's missing a lot of times. There are a lot of kinesthetic learners out there, but most of the academic world is aimed at either the auditory or the visual. So I briefly mentioned that here, and there's a website that talks about that further in detail. So, which comes to my home page. There's a thing that says music and voiceover for you to explain kind of what it's about. It talks about the different galleries, and Gallery 2 is for people to submit their own PDF versions, and then a basic contact information. So I talk about doing orchestration work, adventurous music, soothing music. Depends on what the book is going to be. But that is essentially what it is providing that concept for them. So I'm going to put on an example of a book that I've created myself, drew the pictures, created the ideas, and then I will put on music and sound effects as the reader follows along. I just put up just a dummy sound file for now, but it will be replaced with a real one. And I've used Photoshop for scanning in the digitization of the drawn pictures that I did, but I'll have people send in their PDFs, which is really easy to do through FlipSnack. I'm using Logic Pro because it freezes the tracks. I can do a lot more virtual instruments through Logic Pro. And then I also, for voiceover work, I'll do Pro Tools because it's easier for me, and then I just bring in the WAV file into Logic. On my Mac, which is easier to use for audio programs, less hassle, a lot more dragging and dropping, and that's what I use for my platform. Okay, so I've talked about the different hardware that I'll be using. I'll be using a Tube NTK mic by Rode, which is great for voiceover work to give it a little bit more air, a little more professional quality. I chose that over the shotgun mic because it was a little bit closed in. And then, of course, the Pro Tools platform with the Profire 610 and a bunch of virtual instruments that you can read about. And I'm using Sony sound effects. Sound effects adds a little spice. It's like the spice on top of the entree. So the pilot study is going to be done by my coworkers and family friends for now. That's still in the works, as we all know. I'd like to get down to the visual there, the flow chart. You can see there's the home page, about gallery 2 for other customers' books, and gallery 1's for the example, and then contact information so they can send me their PDFs. And this is a picture of what it'll look like on the home page. Links. That's where they click on the sound there, and then you start the book, which I believe you have all seen, and then the contact information, and that's where, if you want to post your book, contact, and that's for gallery 2. And then about me, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, I'll be ready. Thank you much.